So another topic I would like to ask you about, we talked a little bit about it, is that I get the impression in many families from Sri Lanka who live in Switzerland, the children have a very, very high priority, and even though the parents have challenges as well in their lives, work lives, etc., they're less, let's say, interested in developing personally. It's very important for many parents, it's my impression, that the children get a good education, but what about their own well-being, their own lives, their own education? What do you think about that?
You mean about the parents?
Yes.
I presume that most of the people that you meet, they came here as refugees.
Mm-hmm.
So they lived a big amount of turmoil, strife in their areas of living.
Yes.
And taking this as an escape route, some of them I know are educated, maybe not all. They came from different societies and different levels in Sri Lanka, because the Tamil community also has its caste system. I don't have it. So that's the thing that plays a role today here.
Yeah.
Because if they came from a lower caste, they still want their children to move forward in education. The one maybe who is on a higher caste is thinking the same way and pushing the children mostly to study and develop. So, keeping into your caste, you are also blocked. It is all, how do you say, like a lot of things, they isolate themselves.
Okay.
They don't open a little window here or a door there. They just keep to that.
Interesting. And when you say that, this openness, I think almost immediately about food. I have come to really appreciate food from Sri Lanka. I think it's delicious. But what I notice is that as you say, the openness to try food from other countries is lacking. It's not that it's not. Food from Sri Lanka is delicious, but what about the openness to taste other kinds of food?
There are lots of Sri Lankans who give their children a big picture of what they can eat and drink in this society. Like here in Switzerland, they will do it.
Yep.
Most probably they even go out, for what they cannot cook at home. I also take it that they are so involved in pushing their children, trying to walk a steady path in life. They won't look further, because for them to cook rice and curry goes like this, and to cook maybe bolognese will take a couple of hours. So they think.
Yeah.
So that's why they keep to that. I believe so.
Okay, yeah.
They want their children to grow in the Tamil culture. 100%.
Yeah. Before we started the recording, I remember you used the concept moving forward in life, that many parents from Sri Lanka are interested that the children move forward in life. I remember that you used those words. I'm curious to know, what does that mean, to move forward in life?
To move forward in the Sri Lankan culture, and taking even then the different groups of people, is education. And sometimes I think they forget that when they educate their children, some of them will open their wings and fly off. And so they are afraid of all that. So they try to keep everything as they can, and actually I say like this, try to pour it down their brains.
That is really fascinating. It actually surprises me that you say that, because on the one hand, education means openness, means curiosity, means change, but on the other hand,
Trying to keep to their very, very own society.
I would like to ask Kurt about this. We're talking about your husband, Kurt. We're talking about that education is really important for Sri Lankan families, and many parents want their children to be educated, but on the other hand, they also want to keep them in the culture. What do you think about this dilemma, this contrast between?
There is a contradiction.
Yeah, it's a contradiction, right? What do you think about it?
Well, educate your children means financial prosperity one day. That's
hopefully
that's in their mind,
yeah.
And but there's not only the financial aspect of it, because the children will also see and experience other societies and other ways of thinking at life, and this provokes sooner or later confrontation in those families.
Of course.
Now, if parents are open enough to let their children really do what they want, once they have reached a certain level, then it's easier for everybody, for the children and for the parents.
Yeah.
But those parents who actually just want to educate their children that there will be one day a lot of money pouring over the family, but not letting them do what they would like to do, this is really the beginning of a very difficult period in the conflict in those families.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a follow-up question I come to think of is, what do you think those parents need?
Well, if you would ask them, they don't give you an answer because they think their behavior is completely normal.
Okay.
So, in my point of view, it's difficult to say because I didn't grow up in a Tamil environment or family where I was constantly confronted with the normal way of living in a Tamil community. Now, I don't know if a change can happen in the first generation. Maybe it needs different generations till it slowly starts to change, and maybe intermarriages will happen more often and stuff like that. So it's.
What do you think is blocking parents from, let's say, being open to which way the children will develop?
Isn't it maybe a fear that they can't face questions that might come from the society, Tamil society? Why do you accept? Why do you even help to go your child in this and this and this way? Maybe this is one of the problems, that they don't want to face those accusations or those questions because they are not so sure themselves if they are doing the right thing.
Okay, a fear.
A fear.
Yeah.
Because amongst their community, I think they would be categorized in their behavior. It's strange for me because they didn't change in Sri Lanka. They didn't move. They stayed in their areas. They didn't easily move into the Sinhalese culture or even to see what that culture is, or the Muslim culture or any other grouping of people. They stayed in theirs. Even today, I ask myself, with being that way, how did some of these women travel even alone to Europe? How did they do it?
Yeah.
I question that often. I
Okay.
ask me, how did they come when their society is so closed? And then they come here, there is help for this and that and everything, but then they fall back into their closed society. First, they're in Sri Lanka, they don't know much of the rest. They didn't even know that some of them don't know that there are Muslims, that there is the Burgher community, there are Eurasians, they have no idea. They only knew me here. And then you get to know others who know everything. But a lot of them don't know. They thought it was Sinhalese and Tamils on the land. Already there was this separation. It's not that the country doesn't want, it's that their society they kept to themselves.
And